At Thanksgiving dinner, my sister stunned everyone with a shocking announcement. We voted you out of the family. Thanksgiving dinner. My sister stood up, cleared her throat, and made an announcement that was clearly planned in advance. We took a vote, she said, her voice dripping with fake authority. And you're not family anymore. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video so you don't miss any interesting stories. So let's continue. The room erupted. Cheers, applause, laughter. I let out a quiet chuckle, shaking my head. Well then, I said smoothly, I suppose you won't be needing this. I placed a thick folder right in the middle of the table. The second she flipped it open, her face twisted. And then, she screamed. Right before the turkey was even carved, Jessica had risen from her chair. That smug, well-rehearsed smirk plastered across her face. There's something we need to say, she announced. The chatter died instantly. Forks hovered mid-air. My stomach knotted itself tight. I recognized that tone, sharp, performative, designed to cut. It was the same voice she used when she got me grounded at 14 for a party I didn't even attend. We had a family vote, she continued, scanning the room like she was on stage, moments away from being crowned. And we've decided, you're not family anymore. Silence. Then the cheers started. Loud, jubilant. My cousin Emily clapped like she was front row at a concert. Uncle Thomas lifted his wineglass in a toast. Even my own mother let out a laugh and said, well, someone had to say it. I sat there motionless, staring at my plate. The stuffing was cold, but my blood was boiling. My dad didn't even look up, just took a slow sip of his beer and muttered, it's probably for the best. I exhaled sharply, dragging my chair back inch by inch. Wow, I said, my voice eerily calm. You guys actually rehearsed this? Jessica's grin widened. You've been toxic for years, she declared, practically beaming. We're just finally done pretending you belong here, my mother added casually, reaching for the cranberry sauce like we were discussing the weather. Unanimous decision. I scanned the table. Not one person objected. Not a single voice spoke up. Good, I murmured, breaking the silence. I reached into my bag, my fingers wrapping around the folder I had brought just in case. I had a feeling this might happen, I said, setting it down with deliberate care. The heavy thunk it made against the wood cut straight through the laughter. Jessica blinked. What is that? I leaned back in my chair, arms crossed, my expression unreadable. Why don't you take a look? She snatched it up, flipping it open with that same arrogant smirk she always wore when she thought she was winning. Then she turned the first page. Her smile vanished. She went pale. Her eyes darted frantically across the next page. Then the next, her fingers trembling as she took in every detail. And then she screamed. Not just any scream. A full body, blood-curdling horror movie scream. Her chair toppled backward as she jumped to her feet, slamming the folder shut like it had burned her. You sick freak, she shrieked. You twisted, messed up psycho. Gasps echoed around the table. Her husband, Ethan, grabbed the folder and flipped through it. His mouth fell open. Is this? He stammered. I gave a single nod. Every word, every receipt, every screenshot. The room went dead silent. Somewhere in the kitchen, a fork clinked against a plate. My mother's mouth opened, then shut again, her face contorting like a fish out of water. You were so sure I wouldn't fight back, I said, standing slowly. So sure I'd stay quiet. The doormat, the cash cow. I leaned in just enough to meet Jessica's wide, panicked eyes. Well, guess what? Your little performance. I tilted my head. It's over. Want to know what was in that folder? We'll get there. But first, let's rewind. Because Jessica didn't just wake up one morning and decide I wasn't family. No, that decision was built, brick by brick, word by word, betrayal by betrayal. I was never their favorite. Not even close. Jessica was the star, the golden child. Straight A's, dazzling smile. Knew exactly how to command a room. She could look someone dead in the eye, lie through her teeth, and still have them thanking her afterward. Me? I was the opposite. Quiet, private. I never needed an audience. And they hated that. My silence? They took it as weakness. By 19, I had packed up and moved out. Put myself through college. Juggled 2 jobs. Never once asked for a dime. Meanwhile, Jessica bounced between majors, flunked out of 2, then took off to Europe to find herself. When she finally came back, she married Ethan. And Catherine, the human embodiment of a LinkedIn profile in a blazer, was suddenly part of the family. Then came the wedding. My parents couldn't afford half of it, so I stepped in and covered the difference. Funny, though, how they somehow still managed to go on a 2-week cruise right afterward. But I didn't complain. I never did. Even when they joked about me being the family accountant, I kept my mouth shut and kept paying. Dad needed dental surgery? Covered it. The heat bill was overdue? I sent money. Emily, my cousin, got waitlisted for a scholarship? I chipped in for her tuition. They always said thank you, sure. But it was that kind of thank you, the one laced with expectation. The one that really meant, well, of course you'd help. You don't have a family of your own. And maybe that was the real problem. See, I'm single. No spouse, no kids, no personal drama. Just me, my job, and my dog. And to them, that meant I had nothing better to do than bankroll their problems. Jessica, especially, treated me like her personal safety net. When Ethan lost his job, I was the first call. Just a small loan, she had said. When her car broke down. You make 6 figures. What's a little help? When her kid needed therapy, and insurance wouldn't cover it. Guess who got the desperate text? And I always said yes. Always. Because I told myself, that's what family does. But over time, helping turned into an expectation. Then an obligation. Then a demand. It started subtly, little digs at dinner. Oh, you brought wine? Must be nice to afford the good stuff. Of course you're early. You don't have kids to slow you down. Man, I wish I could stay late at work and avoid my husband, too. Then it got nastier. You're so cold. No wonder you're still alone. You don't understand real stress. You don't have a real life. You're just bitter because no one needs you. Except funny enough, they did need me. Constantly. Behind closed doors. In hushed conversations. Through desperate late-night messages. Financially. And then came the text. Jessica. Hey, can you co-sign a small business loan? Ethan and I want to open a wellness cafe. Me. No. Jessica. Wow. Really? Then silence. That was 3 months ago. Since then, I got the full cold shoulder. Mom stopped calling. Dad's replies turned into one-word texts. No invite to the last family dinner. Then Jessica blocked me entirely. Right after posting a story about cutting out toxic people. But I didn't sit around and sulk. Instead, I pulled receipts. Literal receipts. See, I keep records, bank transfers, emails, texts, dates. I'm not stupid. And over the last 5 years alone, I had sent my family over $78,000. $78,000. $8,000 for Ethan's rehab. $2,300 for Jessica's emergency dental work, which turned out to be veneers. $1,500 for Dad's back surgery. $12,000 to bail Mom out of credit card debt. $6,000 for Emily's college tuition. $4,500 for a family emergency that turned out to be a vacation in Cabo. Not once, did anyone offer to pay me back. They just took. And the second I stopped giving, I was the problem. So I made the folder. Inside, every transfer confirmation, every email, every text request for money. Screenshots of Jessica calling me manipulative just because I told her no. A full timeline, meticulously laid out, detailing every major payment I had made over the last 5 years. And as the cherry on top, screenshots of Facebook and Instagram posts where they mocked me behind my back. I had proof, cold, undeniable proof, of Jessica calling me a cash cow with no spine in a private comment thread. A thread she never realized I had access to. So yeah, that's what she saw when she flipped open the folder. And that's why she screamed. Because this wasn't just an argument anymore. Jessica wasn't just being called out. She was being dismantled. Fact by fact. Line by line. Page by page. And as the realization spread, I watched the rest of the family absorb what they had done. My mother looked like she might faint. Ethan? He had his eyes locked on a single transaction. $200 sent to cover Jessica's credit card charge at a hotel in Santa Monica. With someone named Sophia. His voice was tight when he finally spoke. What is this? I didn't answer. I didn't have to. For once, I wasn't on the defensive. I wasn't explaining myself. I was just letting the truth sit there, raw and undeniable. Mom was the first to break the silence. You kept records? She asked, her voice shaking. Of everything? I turned to her, calm as ever. You never remembered, I said simply. So someone had to. Jessica was still standing, still pale. Her fists clenched at her sides as her eyes darted from me to Ethan, to the folder. This is a violation, she spat. You had no right. No right. I cut in, slowly rising to my feet. You just stood in front of this entire family and declared I wasn't family anymore. You all clapped. And now you're mad because I came prepared. Ethan flipped another page in the folder, his eyes narrowing. What's this about Santa Monica? He asked, his voice sharp. Jessica's head snapped toward him. Don't start. Who's Sophia? He pressed. Why were you at a hotel for 3 nights? On my credit card? Her silence was louder than any answer. My mom suddenly held up her hands. Wait, can we all just calm down and be reasonable? Sure, I said, nodding. Let's be reasonable. Let's talk about the time you called me a parasite while cashing the check I sent you. She blinked. That's not fair, she murmured. We were under stress.
No, it's not.
You were under stress, and I bailed you out every single time. And the one time I say no, suddenly I'm the enemy? For the first time that night, my father spoke. He had been dead silent up until now. You're making this into something bigger than it is, he muttered. I turned to him, my voice dropping low. You let them do this to me for years, I said. You knew, you saw it, you heard it, and you let it happen because it was easier than standing up to them. He didn't deny it. Jessica slammed her hand on the table. You're just bitter because no one needs you anymore. Wrong, I said coldly. I'm not bitter. I'm done. She let out a sharp, humorless laugh. God, you're pathetic. Do you even realize how dramatic this all looks? Printing screenshots? Bringing a folder? You think this makes you the victim? It just makes you a control freak. And you, I said, stepping forward, are proving that the only time you ever cared about me was when I was paying your bills. You don't get to play the martyr, she shouted. You chose to help. You didn't have to. And yet, I shot back. Somehow you expected it. Every single time. Until it wasn't help anymore, it was duty. And when I stopped, you all voted me out. My voice cracked. Not from sadness, but from rage. You didn't want a brother, I said, staring straight into her eyes. You wanted a wallet with legs. Ethan stood then, still holding the folder. His face was unreadable. Is this true? He asked, turning to Jessica. All of this. She looked at him, and for the first time she had no comeback.
No fake tears. No deflection.
Just silence. You lied to me, he said, his voice hollow. About the hotel. About the money. About him. You made it sound like he was crazy. I had to, she snapped, her voice rising. He was turning everyone against me. I wasn't, I said quietly. You did that all by yourself. The room fell silent again. Then my mom leaned forward, her voice softer now, gentler. One last attempt. Listen, honey, we may have overreacted, but this is still family, and families fight. Let's just put this behind us. I cut her off. You're not hearing me. She blinked. What? I'm not asking for peace. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm telling you, I'm done. Jessica scoffed. Oh, stop pretending like this is some big moment. You've said that before. I met her eyes, steady, unwavering. Not like this. Then I reached into my coat pocket and pulled out one last envelope. My dad let out a tired sigh. What now? I tossed it onto the table. It slid across the wood until Ethan caught it. He opened it, scanned the first line. Then his face changed. His eyes widened. What is this? He whispered. I answered for him. Power of attorney for mom. Revoked. Medical proxy. Revoked. Emergency contact. Removed. I let the words sink in. I've already signed the papers. I am legally and emotionally no longer responsible for any of you. My mother gasped. You're cutting ties? Completely, I said. Starting now. Tears welled in her eyes. You're being selfish, she said, her voice cracking. We made mistakes, but we're still your family. I turned to her, my voice low, final.
No.
You're not. I grabbed my coat, looked at them one last time, then walked out the door, leaving them in the middle of Thanksgiving dinner, surrounded by cold food and ugly truths. I didn't look back. Not because it didn't hurt. It did. But as the door shut behind me, as I stepped off their porch and into the crisp night air, something inside me shifted. For the first time in years, I could breathe. I didn't drive straight home. Instead, I pulled off the road near the lake, the same one Dad used to take me to as a kid, back when things were different. I sat there in silence, staring out at the still water, and for the first time in a long time, I felt nothing pulling at me.
No guilt.
No pressure. No one waiting on a check, a ride, or a favor. Just stillness. The next morning, silence. The day after that, still nothing. But on the third day, the messages started. First, my mom. A missed call. Then another. Then a voicemail. You really meant it. We were angry, but we're still your family. I didn't respond. Then came the texts from Jessica. You don't even realize what you've done. Ethan's filing for divorce. Are you happy? Something is really wrong with you. Then my dad. You went too far. We all said things we regret, but what you did was nuclear. Your mother is a wreck. Come fix this. I didn't reply to any of them. And honestly, I thought I'd feel guilty. I thought I'd lie awake at night, questioning if I'd gone too far. But instead, I slept better than I had in years. No more second-guessing every text. No more waiting for the other shoe to drop. No more late-night Venmo requests. Guilt trips disguised as emergencies. For the first time in a decade, I could hear myself think. I started waking up early, going for runs, brewing coffee slowly. I made appointments I had put off for years, the dentist, the doctor, even a therapist. Not because I was broken, but because, for the first time, I was allowed to take care of myself. I rewrote my emergency contacts, removed my parents, changed my passwords, froze every joint account they had access to, blocked Jessica on everything. This wasn't about revenge anymore. It was about closure. A week after Thanksgiving, my phone buzzed. A text from Emily, the same cousin who clapped when they voted me out. This version keeps the impact strong while refining the structure for a smoother, more cinematic feel. Let me know if you want any tweaks. I didn't know you paid for my tuition. I'm sorry. I followed the crowd. You were always the one who actually helped. I didn't respond, but I read it twice. Then, another surprise, a message from Ethan. I filed the papers. Everything in that folder checked out. She cheated. Leet. Manipulated. Not just you, me too. He added, you did the right thing. I should have left sooner. I wasn't expecting that, but it landed. A few days later, I did something I hadn't done in years. I applied for a job in another city. Not because I was running, because I was finally free. No more you should stay close to home. No more you'll take care of them if you leave. I started reconnecting with friends I hadn't seen in years. People I had drifted from, always too busy handling family stuff. And the wildest part? Some of them had seen my post on Reddit. They reached out. Not to ask for money, not to guilt-trip me, not to spin the story. Just to say, we're proud of you. That was brave. Simple. Honest. Clean. Someone asked me, don't you regret it? I thought for a second. Then said, I only regret not doing it sooner. I thought that was the end of it. And in a way it was. But with people like them, nothing ever ends cleanly, especially when they start to feel the consequences of your absence. The first few weeks after Thanksgiving were quiet. Beautifully, eerily quiet. No calls.
No guilt.
Just peace. Until Christmas. December 22nd. A text from my mother. Just a picture. Their living room. Decked out with stockings, a half-decorated tree, and, front and center, a massive empty space where the presents usually were. The caption. It doesn't feel the same without you. Lily keeps asking why Uncle isn't coming this year. I stared at it for a long time.
No apology. No ownership.
Just the same manipulative undertone. Look what you've done. Look who you're hurting. I didn't reply. December 23rd. Jessica tried calling. I let it ring out. Then, a message. I know I messed up, but you don't have to punish everyone. Just come by for Lily. She misses you. 2 minutes later. Also, Mom and Dad are behind on their mortgage. I know you don't care anymore, but the bank called today. Thought you'd want to know. There it was. The ask. Always hidden in a blanket of guilt. Always covered in fake softness. But it always ended the same way, with a request. I blocked the number. December 24th. Another text. This time from Dad. You made your point. We get it. But enough is enough. We need help. We're still your blood. That night, I sat alone by the fireplace with a glass of wine. I looked around my small apartment. No tree.
No noise.
Just me. And the silence they always said would destroy me. And for the first time in my life, I was thankful for that silence. But it didn't end there. January. A call from a number I didn't recognize. I picked up out of habit. Is this Ethan? A man's voice. Yes. Who's calling? My name is Ethan, he said. I'm calling on behalf of your father. He mentioned you're the primary executor of the family trust. I froze. I revoked that role 2 months ago, I said. It was finalized by the family attorney. My name is off everything. A pause. Then, I see. Your father said he couldn't reach you directly and asked me to explore options. They're in a bit of a bind. Of course they were. Jessica and my parents had officially run out of options. The ATM was closed. The safety net was gone. Now they were trying to get creative. I hung up without another word. But the final straw came in February. An envelope in the mail. Handwritten. No return address. But I recognized my mother's handwriting instantly. Inside 3 pages. The first, regret. We said things in anger. You've always been the strong one. We never realized how much we leaned on you. The second? Guilt. Your father's health isn't good. Jessica's completely alone now. We're worried about Lily. She's struggling. And the third? The hook. We're selling the house, but we're underwater on the mortgage. We just need a little help to get through this. Then we'll never ask again. Please, Ethan. Do it for your father. Do it for the family. I sat with the letter for a while. Let myself feel everything they wanted me to feel. The weight of responsibility. The sting of obligation. The aching, familiar need to fix what was broken. Then, I folded the letter, got up, walked to the kitchen, and dropped it in the trash. The truth is, they weren't asking for help. They were asking for access again. They didn't want me back in the family. They wanted the version of me who didn't say no. The one who paid silently, sacrificed silently, suffered silently. But that version of me? He's gone. I'm not their scapegoat anymore. I'm not their golden goose. I'm not the duct tape holding a broken house together. I am done. And the most terrifying part for them? I'm doing just fine without them. New job, new city, bigger place, clean slate. I started volunteering on weekends. Not because anyone needed me, because I wanted to. I built a life where no one calls me at 11 p.m. to clean up a mess they refuse to own. Where I'm not punished for being independent. Where kindness isn't used as leverage. I don't regret helping them. I do regret how long it took me to stop. You want to know what real peace feels like? It's not being surrounded by family. It's being free from people who only call you family when they need something. Update. Months later, I didn't think this post would get attention. Honestly, I just needed to say it. To put it somewhere. But I read every comment. The people who said, "You were brave. They don't deserve you. Thank you." I didn't know how much I needed to hear that, until I did. And for the few who asked, "But what if they change?" Yeah. I've asked myself that too. It's been a few months now. They didn't change after I cut them off. After the folder. After the screaming. After the silence. After the letters. I thought maybe, just maybe, someone would get it. That they'd reflect. That they'd say, "We're sorry." They didn't. They got quiet for a while. Then they got strategic. Then they got desperate. Then they got ugly again. But me? I got free. Since then, I moved to a new place. Got a job that doesn't keep me up at night. Started therapy. Real therapy. The kind where you stop trying to fix everyone else. And finally learn how to sit with yourself. I cook for myself now. I sleep better. I go outside more. I don't flinch when my phone buzzes. And yeah, sometimes I think about Lily. About what she's being taught. About what she'll grow up believing is normal. But I also know this. I was the example of someone who finally said, "Enough." A few days ago, another letter came. Handwritten. My mom's familiar scrawl. Just 3 words. "We're still family." No context.
No επάλεγη.
No change. Just the same old hook. And for the first time, I felt nothing.
No anger. No sadness.
Just nothing. I tossed the letter in the trash and made dinner. So now I'm back here. Because this place gave me a kind of clarity I never expected. Strangers saw me clearer than my own blood ever did. So here's what I want to ask. Did I do the right thing? Cutting them off. Dropping the weight. Saying no and meaning it. Was I too cold? Or was I finally just done being the only one holding it all together? I don't know. But I do know this. For the first time in my life, I'm not surviving. I'm living. Thanks for reading. Still listening.